Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of Melissa's Tabletop Talk. And today, as you can see, I have two guests instead of one. Yeah, and as you can see, he's got on his t-shirt.
Very pro plants.
Eat plants.
Yeah.
He's pro eating plants.
Plums, not plants, not plums. I do like plums.
Okay, trip of the tongue. Anyway, so this week's episode, we are talking about Vegan 101. And why I've invited these two lovely people, Emily and Luke, is because they are vegan athletes. So, Luke, Emily, can you give us a little bit of an introduction as to what veganism is about in the first place?
I think veganism to me really is creating the least harm possible through your daily existence. It's not about trying to be perfect, but trying to do the best that you can wherever you are and whatever journey you're on. I think that's how I perceive it.
And in a more technical way to explain it is basically on our plate we do not consume any animal products. So that includes meat, fish, poultry, so anything that is an animal that fly, walks or swim. As well, we don't consume dairy and we don't consume eggs as well or honey.
And with
Even honey?
No,
yeah.
because it comes from the bees.
So anything that comes from an animal, we do not.
Yeah, and we don't wear them as well. So no leather.
No leather. We don't shop. I mean, ever since becoming vegan, we haven't shopped for leather. We opt for cruelty-free body care products, makeup for yourself as well.
So yeah, it's a way of life more than just what we eat.
Okay, interesting. I didn't know about the honey part. So, Luke, thanks for writing the article for us about the increasing popularity.
Sure.
So, for those of our viewers who have not read the article, you were talking about why there is an increasing popularity of veganism. Could you explain that a little bit for our viewers who are not reading, but they'll probably read the article later?
Yep. So I guess looking at many fronts, whether it's the sustainability aspect, on the ethical side of things, billions and billions of animals are killed on a daily basis, well, every hour. And from my point, I think it's just, in my perspective, it's just completely unnecessary. So I think a lot of people are starting to be more aware, especially with social media. In the last, I would say 5 to 10 years, the vegan movement has really grown significantly. So based on what I've written in the article, just the term veganism on Google Trends has quadrupled in interest, so meaning that people are searching for the term a lot more. And startups in the US, in Australia, more and more vegetarian and vegan cafes are coming through, and even fashion brands are starting to be more conscious. And I would say cosmetics and body care.
Like cruelty-free is something that people don't understand what it is. It's more and more sought after, even by non-vegans. A lot of people want natural, cruelty-free makeup and skin products.
I think that was really kick-started by the Body Shop, right? And they really marketed it out and made it very, very, what's the word? Conscious in people's minds.
Correct.
So, but I think that it's interesting that you two are athletes, right? So tell us, how did you come on this journey? And of course, there are a lot of athletes that I know that, they will always say, you need to eat red meat for the protein and blah, blah, blah. You've heard it all before.
Many a time. That's why I wear my t-shirt, so I don't say anything anymore.
But I'm sure there are a lot of people who are still going to ask the same questions. And as you said, thanks to your article, a lot of people actually were reading your article or coming to my website for that article because they were searching for that term, vegan, or how to start to become a vegan. So yes, for athletes, those who are like hesitant or hesitant to eat more vegetables, what do you say to them? Or you can explain your story as well.
So just to make a long story short, I've been an athlete most of my life. So in my teens, I was on the national team in short track speed skating, the national team in Canada, where I'm from. And I was consuming meat. I was not a big meat lover, but actually I had a coach who was telling me that, because I love tofu, but he was like, tofu is not a real protein.
Really? How is there a fake protein?
I would love to know what was happening in his brain, but that was his way. He was telling me that the best meat that I could consume was horse. So
really?
Horse? Yeah, so I was consuming horse meat. So I did pretty good in my teens in speed skating, but I can remember, like, so we were training twice a day, and I remember how quick I was recovering from my training sessions. And obviously I was a teenager, so you recover very quickly. And then I went back to speed skating, so I stopped for 5 years at the age of 20. At the age of 25, I went back to speed skating. At that time, I was eating a lot of meat because, you know, the whole paleo movement and everything was...
Which is a myth, by the way.
Yeah, it's not paleo, but whatever, that's another story.
I have an article out, you guys can go and read about that.
I agree.
But it was called a paleo diet, and I was eating meat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and even though I did not like it, but you know, I thought that was the way. I wanted to be lean, and my recovery, and I was only 25, I was not like 70, my recovery was awful. Like, just in between sets on the ice, I was just always feeling lactic acid. In the morning as well, I was always feeling, I had flux and I was feeling sick, and I didn't understand why. Like, now it's just like, come on. But back then I was like, I'm doing everything right, I'm not eating carbs, because I thought carbs were mean. And then I was doing a sport-based, a sprint-based sport with, at the opposite, I would need a lot of carbs, but you know, at that time I thought I was doing the right thing and I didn't understand, and I was putting that on my age. I was like, oh, when I was a teenager, I was recovering a lot quicker. Now 25, I'm old, so it's not working anymore. Skated for about 2 years, quit because I was done with it, and then I went on this journey, became a vegan not so long after, and then had so much energy, started ultra running, and then I discovered, oh my god, my recovery was actually even the same or even better than what I was a teenager.
Wow, okay.
So to me, it's just like, I'm just like, why didn't I realize that when I was 25 trying to speed skate and couldn't even fit in 2 training sessions in a day without feeling completely like worn out? And then I could easily run 150k a week and still be fresh at the end of the week. So yeah, I wish I would have known, and I wish I would have known in my teenage years as well. I would probably be even better. But
I think it has a lot to do with your coach as well, because one thing I've heard again and again speaking to even fitness instructors themselves is that every human body is different, and just because one diet works for one person or 50% of the people that they train doesn't mean that it fits the rest. So yeah, I mean, that sounds like, you know, your coach also didn't really understand your body and what was going through with you as well.
yeah, I think he's just like practicing what we call as bro science, something based on nothing other than his own beliefs. But yeah, I do believe that everyone can thrive on a plant-based diet. Just to get on that, I believe that everyone can thrive on it. It's just with certain adjustments. Like, some people might need a bit more fat, or according as well to what they do. Some people might need a bit more fat, some people might need a bit more carbohydrates, some people might need a bit more protein. And it's not even just, it doesn't even change only with people, it changes with periods of your life, periods of training. So yeah, so that's what I believe, that everyone can thrive, but it just takes some trial and error.
Yeah.
Okay.
And for me as well, like, I started on the high protein, low carb kind of perspective in 2010. I competed as a natural bodybuilder, and yeah, it was 2010. I competed in a natural bodybuilding competition, and I was on high protein, low carb for quite a while, actually, a few years since I became a personal trainer in Melbourne. And yeah, I managed to get down to a low amount of body fat, probably about 7 to 8% at comp stage, but I also felt pretty heavy as well. Like, I felt actually quite unhealthy. And I remember when I competed then, about 1 to 2 weeks after because your body does not want to be at 7%. It's just,
I think you even less than that. I think I remember Ben got you at like 4 or 5%.
Oh, I don't think it was 4 or 5. I don't think it was 4 or 5, but I felt like crap. So it wasn't the best
I
time.
cannot imagine having that low of a
Yeah, your
For
body
women,
does not.
For women, it's actually very dangerous.
And yeah, I remembered I just kind of stacked everything on. But when I think back in retrospect of the kind of meats that I was consuming a kilo a day, and on top of that, a whole host of supplements. And because the type of meat that I was consuming such a large volume, I wasn't buying the best quality. So I was really, really sluggish extremely sluggish, and I was trying to modulate my calories, the supplement regimen, my macronutrient ratio. I was trying to get lean, and I was training quite a lot, but at the same time, I didn't really have a lot of energy. And Emily, I think in 2011 or 12, is it?
2011.
I think 2011.
The beginning of 2012.
Yeah, with the beginning of 2012, Emily decided to go vegan for health reasons, and I was quite interested in what she was doing. So I read a little bit about the perspective through this book called Food Revolutions by John Robbins, and in the book it showed the sustainable, how a plant-based diet was more sustainable, ethical, and healthy, and that sparked my interest. And really, penny really dropped when I watched this film Earthlings, and Earthlings just made me realize how animals were exploited. So immediately, overnight, I turned vegan. And when I turned vegan, it was just like, all right, I'm done with it. I'm done with meat. I'm not gonna contribute to animal cruelty anymore. So I remember that first week when I just suddenly changed my nutritional perspective. It probably took me about a week or so. I haven't really been running and doing a lot of cardio because I was in my kind of bodybuilding mindset. But about a week after, I managed to just run 5Ks with absolutely no issue, and I was blown away because I was always in the mindset I'm going to lose muscle mass if I run. And I remember back in 2010 when I was trying to run for the tram, or 2011, just before, run for the tram, I was just puffing when I got to the tram. But I was just blown away after I just ran 5K. And it has been quite an evolutionary process for me. So after I turned vegan, I just did my own thing. And I decided that I wanted to stand on stage again to represent veganism in a healthy light, I think. In 2013, I competed in Australian Natural Bodybuilding Federation, I think. I competed and I placed second, I think. Second in my category.
Yeah, as vegan Adam.
As vegan, yeah, my costume was vegan Adam. So basically what I wore, there was a theme section of
Should
the...
have brought photos.
I can share photos, share links. But basically what I wore skin colored tights. And I
You
wore...
send them over to
Yeah, I'll send them over. And I stuck a leaf on the front like that, and I had a plastic snake around me and a
So you
little
were like Adam.
green sash, and I was holding my apple, and I had vegan.
Vegan on the butt.
Yeah, vegan on the butt, so it was quite funny.
That
But I
is
think
so
back in
funny.
retrospect, I think my kids are gonna be like, Dad, what are you doing?
Yeah, number one is on the way.
Number one's on the way, really, really soon. So that was 2013, and then subsequently, after that, I formed, I think it was around the same time I formed Evolved Generation.
Yeah, because basically we just wanted to find other friends that were into fitness but that were also vegan, because we felt pretty lonely on our side.
Yeah.
Like at the gym, you were the only one. Everyone was like paleo here, and he was the only one
Eating my tofu.
Eating tofu.
Look what you have there, tofu. Yeah, it was quite
It's full of
funny.
estrogen.
Yeah,
and all that
so
kind of
it was
stuff.
really funny.
Yeah,
Also,
actually, I cannot eat too much tofu.
I think
Yeah.
tofu
It's not
is
for everyone.
It's
Yeah.
definitely
So it's not for everyone.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But yeah, so 2000, that was when I formed Evolved Generation. Hi guys. So yeah, and after that Evolved Generation was formed from inspiration for this group called Plant Built, Vegan Muscle Team. There are a bunch of vegan strength athletes in the US. They competed in Austin, Texas Naturally Fit Games in 2013,
14, and then they invited us
Yeah.
to join them in 2015.
So 2015.
So I don't do bodybuilding. I did one competition. It's really not for me. But Luke decided to
do it one more time and really just join the guys, and I think there were 40 plus of us vegan athletes in the non-vegan event throughout. There were kettlebells, powerlifting, CrossFit, bodybuilding, strongman. So there was quite a few events, and I competed in that, and I placed first in my category again. So it was
congratulations.
quite. Thank you. So that was that. And that was my 2015 stint. So I'm looking to compete again in 2017, which is next year, with the guys from Plant Built again. Hi guys, Giacomo and Danny. I want to do it, but this time I'm not doing bodybuilding. I'm going to go to CrossFit. So I've kind of shifted away from bodybuilding and moved into a more functional movement in a sport that I think I believe is a lot more aligned with where I am right now, because I believe aesthetics are aesthetics are byproduct of nourishment and also the love of movement. But
High five.
exactly. And I think people should not always focus on aesthetics as the end goal. High five to that.
Double high five.
Double high five. Guys, that is not the end goal. That's a byproduct of what you do and the way that you live.
Agree.
Because I think there's so much of that right now, especially in the whole bodybuilding and kind of fitness aesthetic, fitspo Instagram.
Yeah.
People are attracted to this perfection so much so that perfection. And people do, like I was a bodybuilder and I had my own body dysmorphia. I remember when I competed, and I was probably 7-8% body fat. And I look at myself in the mirror, I was just like, it's not aesthetic, my abs are not symmetrical because I tore my pec, and I don't have that full chest, and there I am, people say, look, you're looking good. It's like all I could focus on were my issues, and I think that's the issue when you start focusing on your aesthetic goals. I mean, aesthetic goals, every health comes in every shape and size, and I think the whole aesthetic and kind of, in a way, it's a different sport now. I mean, bodybuilders may disagree, but to each their own. But where I am right now, I think for the general public, people should not strive for that specific look. I mean, just love what you're doing, and your body will just adapt and change based on what you do.
And bodybuilding is not for everyone.
Yeah.
Some people actually do not get scarred by the change. A lot of people are fine with it, so like slimming down, being ready for stage, and then gaining back a bit of weight, are very fine with it in their head. But I would say most people get really damaged mentally. I've seen a lot of girls developing eating disorders through getting ready for the stage, and then because they were restricting so much, they got into a binge eating habit, and it just goes yo-yo, and it's just sad. So I mean, not everyone should strive towards doing bikini
or even strive to be an X amount of body fat. I think a body fat percentage should not be the goal, really.
Yeah, but in general, I find that bodybuilding, a lot of people have this goal, like say a lot of women after pregnancy, or I'll just do a bodybuilding competition, and I really think it can bring you down a big spiral, a big down spiral of eating disorders and bad thoughts and bad relationship to food. So I think it's something we need to be very wary of.
I'm so glad that both of you brought that point up, because that is something that I've been trying to stress so heavily through Wellness Insider, because to me, it's like you said, I've met so many people with body issues, and I wouldn't use the word disgusting, but it's a bit sad that when I meet someone and I think that she's perfect. In the he or she is perfect, but they will always point out like, oh, this is too fat, my thighs are wobbly, I'm like, who really cares? Nobody else cares except you.
And I believe that the world will be everyone will be a much happier person if the world did not have any mirrors. If there wasn't any mirrors in the world, you just kind of accept the way that you are. Seriously, I believe that.
But I wouldn't know if my hair is in place.
Oh well. there was a commercial, the Dove commercial. I don't know what it is. There was that Dove commercial about they got a crime artist.
Yes, I watched that.
Yes. So did you watch the commercial? So basically, the subjects describe how they look.
Sketch artist.
And then versus someone describing how they looked.
Yeah.
And the pictures were so different, because when you describe yourself, you just, I've got a big nose, I got this little mark on myself, I don't really, my eyes are just, and then the other person, the external party she's beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is, because I think.
Exactly. But then again, besides that, I love all of these Dove body positive advertisements, but I had this recent conversation with a friend where we were talking about two people that we know, and one of them I would describe her as, both of them are really tall. One of them, she is, in my perspective, she's not fat, she's slim. Like my opinion is that she's slim. Yes, she's not toned because it's obvious she doesn't go out to the gym, or she just, But the other girl is skinny, and she's naturally skinny, right? But this friend of mine said that the skinny girl is is like model like and is great for on the screen, whereas she told the other friend like you need to lose a bit of weight, and then she was substantiating by saying that other people who have seen her now and have seen her photos like back 2-3 years ago have all said that she put on weight. I said that yes, it's true that she put on weight, but she's still healthy looking, right? And I mean, she's now in her 30s. That slim girl is my age. I mean, she's in her 30s already. It's natural that your metabolism goes down, and she's still healthy, and she can wear those really skin tight dresses, unlike myself, and still look good. Yeah, yeah. So to me, it was more like, and she's not alone. I know her opinions are not unique.
Yeah.
A lot of people think that way. And there was this recent article that I shared on Facebook about how people are following fitness personalities rather than professionals.
Yeah.
And I think the whole media is just doing all that. And I think there are not enough professionals who are talking and saying that this is not right.
Yeah. And the thing about a lot of these, especially what you see on Instagram, and I speak for myself because when I used to like do a shoot, like I might, and I've read articles about these figure athletes or bodybuilders. It's a whole process to get to that stage, and it's lighting. It's
don't drink for days.
It's like I had at one point I was getting lean. I was on diuretics, and I was playing water manipulation, and also lots and lots, and to get to look aesthetic on camera. It's a whole process, and obviously there's the lighting, there's Photoshop. So when that comes on Instagram, obviously people want to have a certain look and a certain, I want to be perceived a certain way. So when that is that on that star, all of a sudden, oh, wow, he's aesthetic, and then I want it. But a lot of times, some of these stars are on performance enhancing gear as well.
Or what's it called, fat burners and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, like it makes people believe that that's how you can be every day. I love when a figure athletes, when a bikini girl posts a picture of herself in the off season. Most of them still look. There are exceptions. There's girls who go really on the other way, and that's sad as well. But most girls gain like a reasonable amount of weight just to be healthy, because the weight that you are on stage is not healthy.
Yeah.
For women to have very visible abs is not healthy. There are exceptions as well.
I think you lost your period.
I lost when I did a bikini competition, and I didn't even go that skinny. I lost my period for gosh, I don't know how many months.
Wow.
Because it just mucks you up so much. Some people are more sensitive to it, but for me, like, it was just really bad.
And for me, like, as well, when I used to train fitness models as well, and for competition, and being in that circuit, being in that scene, and being backstage, and for example, pumping my girl up and just looking around, it's just, gosh, it's such, I do not enjoy it at all, because everybody's just kind of looking at you, and then you hear tantrums, and you see people just, I'm not lean,
Well, normal,
that.
yeah, normal that you blow tantrums because you're just not in the right mindset. You're thirsty, you're hungry, you haven't eaten carbs and I don't know how many, or
And
eaten
the thing
very
is
small amounts of calories in like months. It's just not comfortable, and the fit sport thing on Instagram, on internet, it makes people, and especially women or young men, believe that this is how you can be all year long.
And there was a YouTube star that was clearly anorexic, you were sharing with me the other day.
Yeah.
Everyone was idolizing her because
I'm not gonna tell her name, but there's this YouTube star. She's very, very skinny. I think she's 5'8" and so probably like 175 centimeters, something like that, and about 85 pounds or something like that.
40 kilos.
Yeah, 40 kilos, something
Wow.
really. She's extremely skinny, and she gets girls like commenting on her video like life goals.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to be like that, and I'm just like.
Oh no, that's so wrong.
Yeah.
That is so wrong.
Or girls who have they put their pictures on and they have like abs and stuff, and like really defined abs, and as I said, it makes women believe that this is exactly how they need to look to be desirable and to be healthy. which is not true because most of the time when you stand on stage, you are at your weakest.
Yeah, I felt like I felt my weakest, my leanest and my weakest, and although I looked my best, I felt like crap.
That's so funny because I think we had this conversation once about Instagram, and you were saying that the photos that you got the most likes were actually all those where you showed that you were exercising, pumping, and you know,
Yeah.
And
I think it's just primal in a sense, in a way. I think people are. I'm not sure, but
you like pretty things.
yeah, pretty. I don't know, but you know, you look at the bus, you look at sex cells. In a way. It's just what it is. You know, you put a guy or girl just in a long dress. That's there, but you put her in the same girl in a bikini. All of a sudden, ooh, what's that? What's that product there? And that's just unfortunately that's just the way it is.
Yeah. So anyway, we've digressed a lot.
We've digressed. Yeah.
But I'm glad we had
It's
it
a
out
good
there.
subject.
Yeah.
I'm really passionate. I'm passionate about. There's something I'm really looking into right now. I don't know if I agree with it 100%, but a health at every size. It's something that I'm quite interested about, body positivity. There's a lot of stuff that I do agree with, intuitive eating and everything. That's and because I've seen a lot of people. Like I've talked to a woman who was in a bigger body her whole life. And then when she became an adult, she was going on diets, and even at 12, 13, her mom was bringing her to Weight Watchers. Yeah, it happens a lot. But at some
Are
point,
you sure you're not talking about me?
I know that the thing is, I know that's the case of a lot of women. So she was on diets, and at some point, for a few years in her life, she managed to be like probably like I'd say a size 14 to go down to a size 14 UK and keep it like that. But she was always sick. She was always getting all these infections and never feeling good. When she finally said, I'm done with this. I'm done with the diets. I'm done. Yeah. And then she's a vegetarian woman. She went vegetarian because she loves animals so much. And she just was done. She gained some weight back. She's considered a bigger bodied woman. She's super healthy. Yeah. And to me, it showed me that not everyone is made from the same mold. Yeah. And actually, if your blood tests and everything comes back good, and you in a bigger body, well, sadly that might be sadly for society or whatever, but that might be the body you're meant to be in.
Yeah. So anyway, just to give you guys a bit of background, I've shared this a few times that when I was going through my diagnosis of endometriosis, I suddenly gained a lot of weight, right? Although I was exercising, and I exercised like 3 times a week, which was pretty good, right? And so when they were doing all the blood tests, trying to find out what I was, wrong, the doctor actually had this: your blood cholesterol is really, really good. It's amazing, and he actually said it's amazing for your size. Then I was horrified, like, did you have to say that?
Yeah.
And then I was like, that's why I know there's something wrong with me, because I go to the gym 3 times a week, but I just suddenly put on 10 kilos within like a few months. That is not healthy. That is obviously something wrong. And I hear that a lot of times, after I got to know a lot of fitness instructors and yoga instructors, I keep on seeing something, which is just because they are not your ideal, what you see in the magazine, what you see on Instagram or stuff like that, doesn't mean that they're not fit, doesn't mean that they're not flexible or healthy. In fact, some of these yoga instructors look like me or even bigger, and they're a lot stronger than me.
Totally. For me, coming from bodybuilding and now into CrossFit, any shape or size is about your performance. You go to Standard Chartered, anybody's shape or size is about running that race. And I think it's just all about badminton. If you're good at badminton, you don't really care about your size. And I think that's the thing. That's why I personally have moved away from that kind of aesthetic, more towards more performance related goals. And I think Emilie as well, and she loves ultra endurance. And me, I love CrossFit, calisthenics, and
So anyway, back to
the reason why. Back to the reason why we're here.
Yeah. So back to veganism and vegetarian, right? So why did you choose veganism instead of just vegetarian?
For me, at the beginning, I was like, oh, I'll just go vegetarian, and I was just like, I'll keep the eggs. The dairy, I was like, oh, I'll just keep the eggs. And then I think I had an omelette, and then I just felt sick after, and I was just like, that's my body telling me I don't need omelettes. But I watched a lot of YouTube. When I was researching about vegetarianism and veganism, I watched a lot of YouTube videos from those two Australian YouTubers that are very pro-vegan, so Frida the Banana Girl and Harley Johnston, a vegan writer. And they just, I don't know, they just talked to me. I was just like, why am I'll just go all the way. It just made me realize that you're still creating, like, to me, it's still cruel. Our cows are treated, battery chickens are treated, so to me I was just like, let's just go all the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But same for me as well, like when I read, I mean, especially for vegetarians, you have eggs, but what I've researched, and there's a lot of proof out there that male chicks are deemed useless in the industry. So by consuming eggs, you're actually feeding the industry that produces eggs. So meaning these male chicks that are deemed useless in the industry because they can't produce and become hens or broiler chickens, they get really grinded.
They get grinded alive.
They get grinded alive, and it's just after one day that they're born, simply because they're the male, and just things like that. That's just, and many other. If you really want to go deep, you can go really deep. And I think for me, it's just, I'm the type of person, when I decide on something, I go 100%. There's no, do. And I was actually quite, like, I know of a lot of people who have gone vegetarian for many years and slowly cut down. But for me and Emily, we're just like, you want to do something, let's do it all the way.
Yeah, I just felt good. I just felt so good with no meat, and then as I said, it's just, to me, it was just all natural, and I was just like, great, I can eat all the fruits I want, and I was just like, oh my god, tasty food.
And our health, I mean, for me, my recovery and my health has just been optimal. Body composition, in terms of staying lean all year round, not sick, my hormonal balance, everything is just tick, and knowing that each and every day that I eat, I'm making a vote for change in the world. Like, people ask me, why are you vegan? I say, why not? I mean, it ticks all the boxes. I'm healthy, I'm performing better, and I'm in a way making a difference as well. So yeah.
And for me, it was I had really bad digestion at some point, and that's why I looked into veganism firstly, vegetarianism, because I realized, like, I cannot digest all that meat. I was taking, like, digestive enzymes before every meal, and like HCl, like sort of acid to help my stomach, because apparently my stomach was not producing enough acid to digest all that meat. And then like after 2 days of the meat, like all of a sudden I felt, I wasn't bloated anymore. I was in pain, because every single meal I was in pain. I thought I had, like, colon cancer. I was starting to be very freaked out. And then like it changed. So to me, I was just like, nah, there's no looking back. Yeah.
Okay, so going back to food, because I know for a fact that there was 1 month when I was trying to be gluten-free. It was so difficult to actually find food, but it must be very difficult for you guys as well. And for busy individuals, they are probably too busy to prepare their own food every single meal. So what advice do you have for them?
There's plenty of places, like, to be honest, like, I don't pack my lunch at the moment. I'm very lazy. And so I just go to Sedel. And for a while, for the first 2 years I was vegan, I was also gluten-free, because I was diagnosed with gluten intolerance before I turned vegan. And then eventually it feels like my digestive system repaired itself so well that actually now I can handle gluten. Especially now pregnant, I'm really enjoying bread, so I'm like, awesome. But it is very, very possible here in Singapore to actually be vegan and gluten-free. But even just vegan, Sedel is great, and it's all over. I'm talking from more of a Western perspective, because that's mostly what I eat. Salad stock as well is great. Is it called?
Salad stock.
Yeah, salad stock. It's great as well. There's a lot of, like, those salad bars. Make your own, or you go to cold storage and there's like a salad bar that you can make your own salad.
It's quite cheap as well.
Yeah, it's so much cheaper than Sedel, but I love the Sedel selection. But everywhere, and even if you like more like hawker center kind of stuff.
I mean, there's mixed veggies on rice, economy rice, which is really, really cheap, and there's also the vegetarian economy rice as well. and there's things like tandati rice. So depending on which area you're in, there's this app called Happy Cow, and Happy Cow kind of detects
How
your
is it COW?
Yep. It detects your location and the nearest vegetarian vegan options around you.
So Thai food,
Thai
all
food,
all the time.
if you go to Thai, if you go to Vietnamese, Chinese, there's always vegetarian. In fact, ever since coming back to Singapore, we haven't had any issues finding
I think
food.
the only time that I remember, because it was a few weeks ago, my friend and I met in the city, and I don't remember which mall we were in, but there was a couple of malls where it was, and she's a vegetarian herself, and I'm a vegan, and we were struggling, but it's the first time in a year and a half in Singapore. It's just that we didn't plan in advance. So when you go somewhere, just look quickly, like what's there in the area.
And a good resource would be animalallies.sg. That's a
such a
great
good
community. Michael has done a really good job, and the whole community as well. They've got a Facebook group, they've got the WhatsApp group, and they're always updating where's the best place to makan and things like that. And on their page as well, they've got links for and reviews. And this other website called Hungry Young More, hungryyoungmore.com. Luke is his name, and he basically goes around Singaporean, another Luke indeed, good name. Yeah, he goes around Singapore and tries out different vegetarian and vegan cafes and does a blog post on it. So, and for me, I work from home a lot of times. For me, it hasn't been easy. I just make a smoothie for lunch because I don't really like this, especially when Emily's not around. I'm like the typical bachelor. I was like, I don't know what to do anymore. So,
But yet you have a cooking video or cooking videos.
yeah, cooking videos.
The thing is, he can cook for
I can
himself
cook.
very well. He
Yeah,
took
but
he took a cooking.
just
I
video.
don't know.
lazy.
Yeah, I'm just more lazy.
She's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
And-
I'm extremely lazy.
And even then, there's these products. So if you really go to the point, like at NTUC now and even cold storage, there's the products, so frozen
Amy's.
Amy's. So it's all either vegan or vegetarian. If you're a vegan, just make sure there's no dairy. But yeah, they have they have chicken pot pie. They've got a bunch of soups, different soups. They've got vegan pizza,
Yeah.
all frozen, and it's not that expensive.
And I
so,
think really
yeah.
the key to be full on a plant-based diet is just to load up on your starches and your breads and things like. I mean, people who might be gluten-free, maybe not the breads or gluten-free bread.
Bread's not for everyone. There's a few things that are not for everyone, but what's for everyone is your rice, your sweet potatoes, pumpkin, that kind of stuff. This is the absolute better. Brown rice, especially, like it's all the best carbohydrates that you can
And
get.
this would be the kind of the starch solution, which is
Yes. And before you go on, some
Yeah.
people are probably going, carbs, But again, back to that same article that I wrote about the myth of paleo diet. Starch-based diet is perfectly fine. Starch is not evil.
exactly.
Yeah. Okay,
What
sorry, carry on.
what were our ancestors eating?
Our ancestors,
Eating starches.
Exactly.
Rice has been moving the whole Chinese civilization, and South America we got corn, we got all sorts of different
the
grains.
Kenyans, that just pretty much like won everything at the Standard Charter.
They pretty much on the carb-based.
Ugali, which is called, and it's basically what they eat is ugali stew. So it's a little bit like it's a maize based or corn based mix. Yeah, it's like a couscous style, and they eat it with like a big stew made out of kale, and that's what they eat constantly, and they like that, and they run faster than anyone in the world.
And when you look at the leanest and healthiest populations around the world, when you look at longevity, the Blue Zone study as well, Blue Zone study studies 5 different pockets of people around the world, Loma Linda, Sardinia, Icaria in Greece, Okinawa, and they pretty much consume
Seventh-day Adventists.
Seventh-day Adventists, pretty much a whole food plant-based diet, predominantly a plant-based diet, and they are the pockets of the world which actually has the most amount of centenarians, so meaning living past 100. So there is that longevity study, and when you also look at the leanest populations, I mean, when you look at Japan, when you look at Chinese back in the day, you look at
It's changing
Vietnam,
sadly because
you look
McDonald's is coming, they're having money
and
now.
Exactly, when all of a sudden this Western influence comes in, the whole kind of meat and Western diet comes in, they're getting the exact same diseases that America, US, UK, America and US are the same place. So
Australia,
US, Australia,
UK,
they're
Canada.
getting the exact same thing. So it's textbook. So it's just really about going back to what we were born to eat, what we're meant to eat, and I believe, and this is a personal belief, that we are actually plant-based eaters, humans, we evolved to eat meat, but
we can digest meat because in some places when it's really really cold and there's nothing else,
Yeah.
that's our only choice, and that's great that we're able to digest meat for that, but not 3 meals a day, not even every day.
Yeah. And when you look at, you go to Raffles City Hall, I mean, when you look at what's available to us these days, they say Singapore is we got so much variety, but yeah, you've got a lot of variety, but you're also getting a lot of cancer, you're getting diabetes. I've just got one of my friends just messaged me, her close friend just died from cancer. And
My
it's
dad
just-
died of cancer last year.
You know, it's just around us, and people go on about meat. This correlation does not equal causation. I always say, let's say if you have cancer and you know that there is a nutritional perspective that can actually halt and reverse your condition, would you do it, or would you still go, oh, I want to go high protein? No, of course not. You know, only when you're at that point you realize, and a lot of times it's too late.
Too late, yeah.
And I know I've interviewed people who have actually reversed their cancer through a raw plant-based diet. So the evidence is there, and hence back to the article, more and more awareness is out there, and that's why the plant-based movement is really picking up. It's really, really growing because it is really a viable alternative to everything, a solution to everything, I would say.
So that being said, we do have a conclusion that it's not for everyone though. Like me, I will never turn vegan. Sorry.
No, that's okay. It's no
Not
judgment.
vegetarian either.
No judgment.
I love my eggs and cheese.
No judgment.
And once a month, I have cravings for steak.
Yeah, well, it's like as I always say, like not everyone are gonna go 100%, but it makes already a massive difference to cut down and or to
Yeah.
choose. Yeah.
But I do agree with you. I mean, there's a lot of studies and even documentaries made where the whole pyramid thing is all wrong. We should be eating more carbs and more vegetables.
Fruits and vegetables and starches.
Yeah.
You know, mum and dad always say having fruits and veggies first,
Yeah.
and we come full circle.
Yeah.
Really.
So we've come to the end. We are running out of time. So thank you, Luke. Thank you, Emilie,
Pleasure.
for coming.
Pleasure.
So any last words or advice for our viewers if they are thinking about learning more about eating more plants?
Eating more plants. I mean, we're going to be holding workshops, and I'm going to be starting a program. Plant Fit program is a 28-day program that helps plant-curious vegetarians, vegans get healthier and fitter through a 100% whole food plant-based diet. That's on my website, livegreen.com. And I think a bit of advice from my side is, if you're interested in a plant-based perspective, go at your own pace. Start one day at a time, even one meal at a time. There's no race, but it's all about making it sustainable and making it a lifelong change, not just going all in. Okay, tomorrow I'm going to be. I mean, I did that and I managed to do it.
Everyone.
It's not everyone's going to be able to do that overnight.
We've got a term for that. It's called flexitarian.
Flexitarian, yeah, flexitarian. There's pescatarian. There's ovo.
What?
There's a whole
Yeah.
Too
lot.
many
It's a whole
terms.
range.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I know a lot of people who they stopped caring and they were like, I'm just gonna do my best at home, just eat vegetarian, and then when I'm out, and then I like a friend just did that recently, so she was like that. She stopped putting pressure on herself when she was going out. She was like, okay, if there's no option for me, I'll eat the meat, whatever.
Yeah.
But then she got fed up and she was like, you know what, I am done. And she got the motivation to actually make that extra step. But it's when she stopped putting the pressure on herself that actually she felt the strength to go all the way. But yeah, I think it's different for everyone. So do what's sustainable for you. And if you don't feel that right now you can do it, maybe one day you will. Your body will tell you, or something will just make you realize that.
And do it for the right reasons.
Do it for the right reasons,
Exactly,
not just for aesthetic goals once again.
Yeah.
And I think also connect with people who are like-minded, who can support you in the journey. Because if you want to go plant-based or go vegan or vegetarian, talk to a vegan or vegetarian and say,
Get some friends,
join the community. There are a lot of local vegetarian society and animal allies as well. Join the local community, connect with like-minded people, and draw inspiration from the internet and yeah, I mean, I would say.
Watch the movies. So the top 3 movies for us is Cowspiracy, Earthlings, and Forks Over Knives.
So
And of course
Cowspiracy.
your book too.
Of course, my book too. My book kind of does a bit of a big picture view of a plant-based diet. But yeah, Cowspiracy is a sustainable aspect of it.
Environment. Forks Over Knives is health. And
Plant Pure Nation as well would be
yes.
another one.
So that's the one after Oxford Knives.
And then finally would be
Earthlings,
Earthlings, which is the one that
Earthlings.
just really got me thinking.
Okay.
Cool.
So you can read the article that Luke contributed, and hopefully he'll contribute more articles on thewellnessinsider.sg. So next week we will have Fiona Tan, who is Singapore's first Miss International Plus Size. So she won the title.
Oh wow.
That's phenomenal.
She won the title internationally,
Wow.
Miss Plus Size, and yeah, I'm gonna talk to her about body confidence, body image, and she has slimmed down since she won the crown actually, and yeah, how she's feeling right now, and her goal is to, again, body positivity, body confidence, and helping people feel great about themselves. But of course, she's doing it through makeup, not through. Yeah, but it's interesting.
Wow,
I can't wait to meet her. So tune in next week, and thank you, Luke. Thank you,
Thank you for
Emily.
having us.
And thank you for listening in, tuning in.
See you next week.
See you next week.
Same
Bye.
day, same time.
Bye.
Bye.